try to do the best food security for you and for your family. You know, in the very least, some people are not into providing for their family as far as like actually putting in the work. Some people are into putting in the work and it's just a hobby for them. Some people are into putting in the work and they can provide for maybe their immediate household. And some people are into putting in the work and providing for their household and their local community. And then there's some people that are into farming and selling what they can do because they hone the skill of farming into something that is a skill that is transferable in a way that you can use that skill that you have to feed a multitude of people. And that is something that is fulfilling, at least for me. It feels very fulfilling, something that you can do. You are a lifeline. You're a lifeline for people. You are needed by people. You are required by people. And it's something that I think has been undervalued and farmers have not been paid their just due. But without further ado, we're here talking about food forests, growing your own food forest. What does it take? What does it look like? I've been growing food for since 2019. I've been growing food since 2019, and this has been a process. Everybody doesn't start out and the next day they have a whole food forest growing. You don't decide to grow your own food and then a week later or even a year later, your backyard looks like how it looks right here. It doesn't. It just doesn't work like that. Okay. So you have to go through a natural progression. All right. So yeah, I really want to show y'all what I'm talking about because I'm really not doing the channel justice. Okay. So let's give a walk around before we get too far into it. All right. So this stuff I just put in here last year. Okay. All right. So we have this is fruit trees, and anybody that's not familiar with a food forest. All right. So if you're not familiar with the food forest concept, you can Google it. It's more or less a 7-layer process in which you're trying to mimic the forest and you're doing the best you can to try to mimic nature. Okay. Now I'll show you. I want to turn the camera around. I don't want to make this focus on me, but you want to try to mimic nature. And this has been a process. All right. You're not going to start growing your own food and then say the next week, the next month, or the next year, it's going to look like how it looks right here, because it's not. All right. I've been growing since 2019 and I've been making exponential progress in what I've been doing, and I haven't given up. So that's a big factor. Most people give up. Let's not take that uh, for granted, because man, so many people give up that it's not worth growing if you're going to do that. All right. So let's turn the camera around. This is the backyard food forest, okay? It's the backyard food forest. Hi, Battylicious, Bat. All right, Ziggy Bomb, what's going on? All right, so check this out. All right, and this is the second year for this one right here. All right, some stuff I put in here a year ago, some stuff I put in here 2 years ago, some stuff, all right, I put in here maybe 3 years ago. This one right here, this one is a plum tree. Okay, it's a beautiful plum tree. Some stuff we flowered already this year, so some of the stuff is going to produce fruit this year. All right, not everybody's going to care about it, but guess what? This is growing into something that's going to grow into providing everything that we need. All right, so let's talk about it. So right here, this is a plum tree, and then I already seeded a bunch of squash down here. So I seeded a bunch of squash. Y'all see the drip irrigation right there. Now I'm going to redo the drip irrigation because the drip irrigation is going to be dripping where I need it to drip. So I planted some pumpkin. I planted right around here, around this tree. I planted peas. So climbing peas. So I put one pea right here, pea right here, pea right here, pea right here. I put some climbing peas. I'm gonna train them up, and they're gonna climb up this tree right here. Okay. All right. And then I put squash around it, and then I put this massive pumpkin that's gonna grow around it. So this is a plum tree. Okay. This one is a plum tree, and we'll take the walk around. And I got a food forest in the front yard. We got so much land in the backyard that we still have yet to get to. So we got a lot of land back there, but we're only talking about this one area. If you're somebody with a piece of property, you got a parcel of land. You're somebody that has a parcel of land and you want to grow your own food. Let's talk about it. All right. So right here, second year, I put this in the ground. I paid maybe $50 for this tree. Second year, there's a plum tree right here. Okay. Let's talk about it. We got a bunch of squash in the ground. Okay. You can't see it right now, but it doesn't matter. But we have drip irrigation. That's imperative. On your own food, you need drip irrigation. All right. This one right here, blueberry bush. Let's talk about it. Okay. People love blueberries. People know what blueberries are. Okay. If you know anything about blueberries, you know what I'm talking about. You know what you're looking at. If anybody has seen blueberries, grown blueberries, and knows anything about blueberries, you know this right here. This is a blueberry bush, and you know these are pollinated. All right, these white things right here are the flowers. They just finished flowering, or they're just finishing flowering, and they are pollinated. So we're gonna get plenty of blueberries on this blueberry bush right here. This is a beautiful blueberry bush, second year, and it's thriving. Okay, all right, but you need to protect it. You need to protect it. That's what you need to do. You gotta protect it. All right, so the birds and the squirrels and the groundhogs and animals in nature will eat your food if you don't protect it. So you need to protect your bushes. You see this right here? You see this fencing? I got fencing all around this enclosure right here. This is an enclosure because we have fencing. All right, so we got PVC welded wire, PVC fencing 6 foot high. Okay. All right, so we talking about it. So we got a blueberry bush right here. Check it out. Okay, stick with me. Stick with me. All right. What's the next thing we got? Sickle pear. Sickle pear. We got a sickle pear tree right here. Okay. Look at this one. We got a sickle pear tree. All right. So we back up. Sickle pear tree. And this is not the usual content that I post on this channel. It's the sickle pear tree, but we're talking about food security. All right. With the uncertainty of what's going on in the world, we need food security. All right. This is second year. We got a sickle pear tree right here. Look at this thing. Does this thing look dead, or does it look like it's thriving and doing what it's supposed to do? This thing is doing what it's supposed to do. That's a sickle pear tree. Okay. And it's pollinated. Let's look. Look at that right there. You'll see that? That's fruit right there. That's going to produce the fruit. Oh, look. Check me out. Check me out. Look at him. Look at him. Look. We got deer always roaming around trying to get in here. He looking around. Deer always trying to get in my food forest. Always trying to get in my food forest. Look at him. Just roaming around doing what he want to do. Get up out of here, man. I'm not letting him in my food forest. Anyways, but check it out. So look, we got more. We got more pears right here. Okay? We're going to get fruit this year. My first year, I put this tree in the ground. I spread the roots out. I spread the roots out and made sure the roots were healthy. And because I spread the roots out, made sure we didn't have girdling roots and this tree didn't become root bound, we didn't get fruit the first year because the fruit fell off. I'm trying to make sure we can see. All right, so we have pears right here. We have pears growing in. You can see the fruit are starting to grow in right here. All right. It's still early in the season. We have plenty of fruit right there. Plenty of fruit growth right there. Okay. Beautiful. This is what we want to see. Okay. Sickle pear tree. Tree is pollinated. Next thing we have, currant. It's a currant bush. Hit that like and subscribe button. If y'all never heard of currants, hit that like and subscribe button. Currant. 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 This is a fruit shrub. I ain't gonna act like I knew about it all my life. I bought it last year. Currant. Electric fences. I'm not doing electric fences. I got kids. I got little kids. So I can't do that. Sorry. Currant. All right. So this is our second year, and we had plenty of flowering this year. So we should, and we are expecting fruit this year. So let's look on here. Let's see. Can we tell where we got flowering? Oh, look at this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at it. Look at it. Check this out. Oh, oh, we got flowering right here. This is a currant. Currante. Or not, no E, sorry. Currant. 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 Look at that. We got fruiting right here. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. We got currant. And we have more than one currant bush. We got another one right here. So look, we got a currant bush right there. And we got a currant bush right there. Look at that. And then we got vegetables right there. And we have so much growing on. We got food forest in the front. But the point of today is to grow a food forest. So if anybody's not paying attention and knows what a food forest is, the first layer is the canopy layer. The canopy layer. And then we have the fruit tree layer. Okay? You have the next layer. There's 7 layers to a food forest. So the first layer is a canopy layer. So everything doesn't need full sun. Okay? That's the canopy layer. And then we got the fruit tree layer. And then we have the shrub layer. And then we have so many different layers. We have the vine layer. We have the root layer. We have, oh man, we have so much growing on. But let's see. I'm just looking for, we have fruiting going on our currants. That's beautiful. Look at that. We got more. Look at that. We got fruiting on our currants. That's beautiful. Our currant bush looks amazing. It's thriving. Beautiful. If you have not had currants and you know nothing about the currant bush, look it up. I'm showing you right now. This is what the leaf looks like. Okay. 19, been working on this for years, and I have not always known how to grow in the ground. All right. For some people that just figured out how to grow in the ground, whoop de do. But if you don't know what you're looking at, all right, you can be like, all right, you just planted a tree in the ground, whoop de do. All right. But guess what? We got a fruit tree, okay, within a certain proximity and drip irrigation, and we have a bunch of squash in there, and we're going to talk about that. We have a shrub. Why is there a tree, a shrub, and then another tree? Why did he plant it like that? Okay, that's the question. Why did Backyard Lumberjack plant it? We got behind all those cords of wood right there, because a lot of people that come to my channel, they like, okay, they want to see, okay, what you doing? You chopping up wood. You got a lot of wood going on. You chopping up wood with the chainsaw. You chopping up wood with the axe. But guess what? We need to eat every day, okay? And I got babies, all right? I got little kids, okay? Okay, so we talking about fruit trees, food security. So we have a plum tree, and then we have a shrub. We have a blueberry shrub. So plum tree, blueberry shrub, pear tree, currant shrub, still drip irrigation. So that's tree, shrub, tree, shrub. What do we got next? We have another sickle pear tree. Okay, is this one pollinated? I don't know. I don't know. This one might not be pollinated. Okay, this is the second year, so this one might not have any fruit on it. They all don't have fruit on it because I planted them the right way. What does the right way mean? It means that when I planted them, I openly exposed their roots. I opened up the ground, made sure the ground had all the nutrients in the right environment that it needed. And then I fanned out their roots and made sure the roots weren't going to choke each other out. They weren't going to girdle around and choke each other out in the long term. Okay. So this tree right here, it's another pear tree, sickle pear. Okay. That's going to pollinate the other sickle pears. Okay. What do we have over here? Stuff that I had last year. This looks like sage. That's a, that's a variety of sage. This one right here. So you see, okay. So we went tree, okay, pear tree, no, plum tree, blueberry shrub, pear tree, currant shrub, another pear tree, blackberry shrub. This is a thornless blackberry right here. Thornless. Thornless blackberry. So I don't have to worry about touching this and then poking me and doing what blackberries do. Look at this. Y'all see those fruit growing on there? This is, okay. This is a thornless blackberry shrub. Thornless blackberry shrub. So blackberries usually have a ton of thorns on them. I know because I have a ton of blackberries. Natural blackberries, wild blackberries, and they have so many thorns that it's almost not worth even trying to scour the leaves and so on and so forth to go get those blackberries, because man, it's a progress, it's a process. And man, to make progress with it and let it grow, yeah, the wild ones, so much stuff grows wild with it that it's almost not worth growing it unless you're growing it intentional and you're saving a space for that shrub to grow. Because I'm letting my wild stuff grow over there, and there's so much other stuff growing over there that it's, yeah, so much stuff is competing that it's not worth it. So I have my thornless blackberry right here that's doing good. We see fruit. We see fruit right here. Okay, we come over here, we see more fruit, more thornless blackberry. We see flowering. Flowers mean fruit, right? Anybody that don't know, flowers mean fruit. Okay, we're teaching a lesson right here. And brambles spread. Okay, if you like berries or your kids like berries, anybody in your family like berries, brambles. Okay, look up variety of berries that you're growing, and brambles spread like weeds, like wildfire. Okay, so if you look at all this right here, look, these are my thornless blackberries, but look next to it. Those are all my raspberries. My raspberries started with 2 raspberry bushes, but look at it now. This looks crazy, out of control, right? Crazy, out of control. It looks like, all right, dude, you need to do some weeding, but guess what? All that is raspberry. All that is raspberry. I let those 2 raspberry bushes, those brambles, grow into something that's going to produce a lot of raspberries this year. Raspberries produce on their second year. So old growth will produce, but the new growth first year won't. So don't expect raspberries on your new growth this year. Next year they'll produce, but you got to keep them in check, because you see that drip irrigation line right there. I don't want them in my second row. All right, so I'm going to cut these blueberries, not blue. I'm going to cut those raspberries. The raspberries are going to get cut right there. Okay, so you see that drip irrigation line right there. The raspberries, I'm going to get out of my walking distance, because this is my walking path right here. So I'm going to clear the raspberries out of my walking path, and this is my second bed right here. Okay, so we don't give a different viewpoint, but these are all raspberries. Maybe about 40% of them are first year. The majority of them are second year, and they're going to produce so many raspberries. But you got to get them when they're ripe, because the birds will get them first, or slightly before they're ripe. Okay, we got another tree right here. We got another fruit tree. This is an apple tree. Which one is this one? Which one is this one? Let's see. Okay, you can see it's $100 tree. It says Northern Spy apple tree. Look at that. Okay, does it look healthy? Does it look like it's dying? It looks healthy. Northern Spy apple tree. Look at that. Doing good. beautiful. What I like to see. Okay. All right. So let's look at our food forest from a different angle. That's our raspberry bush. Okay. And like I said, we're going fruit tree, shrub, tree, shrub. Okay. This is second row. What do we have? Blueberry, not blueberry, blackberry. My apologies. This is, and you can see the flowers. You see all the white flowers right here? That means that this is starting to flower and it's starting to produce fruit. It wants to produce fruit. Look at that. Flowers mean fruit. Okay, so we're going to let this continue to flower and pollinate. All right, this right here, this is dying as a result because I had netting on this last year from the birds and the squirrels getting all my fruit off of this last year. I put netting on it and it didn't get the airflow that it should have gotten. So definitely take the lesson that I'm giving right here. Don't just put netting on your fruit trees or fruit shrubs, because you can kill your tree or shrub if you just let the netting just sit on it. It has to like kind of get airflow and not just hang on it. So I'm going to put my netting on it this year, but we're going to suspend it. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. All right, look at that. So we might need some pruning on this one. This is a this is red delicious apple tree right here. So I'm looking to probably either prune it or I'm going to bring it down. All right, this year, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, you see this right here? We're going to bring this down here like this, and then I'm going to pin it to the ground. That's what we're doing this year. You see how that's up there like that, like that? Yeah, that red delicious apple tree, and that's how we do it. We either prune it or we're going to air layer it, or I'm going to pin it to the ground. If we got too much, so like this one right here, this one right here, yeah, we're going to air layer this one. So this one right here, this little secluded branch right here, I'm going to air layer this one. And then these two branches, this one's going to come this way, boom, pin it to the ground, so that next year it stays right here. So it stays to the height and length that we want, so that we can harvest our fruit how we need to harvest it. And look at that. That's pollinated. That's pollinated fruit right there. So we're going to get some apples this year. Beautiful. You understand me? You understand me? Those, those are pollinated fruit right there. That's what I want to see. Pollinated fruit. You hear me? Po- okay, I shouldn't have took that one off. But I'm doing too much touching. But I'm trying to explain something. Hit that like and subscribe button, because that's one less apple that we're going to get. Hit that like and subscribe button. But I'm trying to show y'all. Okay, trying to show y'all what it looks like. Okay, in real time, and what it looks like second year. I put these in last year, okay? And you need to know how to prune, and we're not just pruning, but we're also cloning, okay? So we have one branch right there, one branch right there. I'm going to lean that one that way, pin it down. I'm going to lean this one this way. I'm going to pin this one down, so that next year it's going to harden. It's going to stay like this. Same, you know? And I'm going to do the same thing with these branches. I'm going to pin it down, and they're going to pin down like that. And this is going to stay to a height that I wanted at, where I needed at. And then we're going to keep it pruned down so it doesn't get too high. So it's easy to harvest. But this one branch right here, we're going to air layer this one. If you're not familiar, air layering, all right, get familiar, okay? I'll show you, okay? Air layering, if you're not familiar, we take some soil, I take a little container like this, okay? And I'm teaching, this is game right here. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'm teaching you, I'm putting you on game. If you're not familiar, I'm putting you on game. Hit that like and subscribe button. Look, check this out. So look, we're gonna pick one of these nodes right here. You see this one is alive and well. I'm gonna pick one of these nodes. So we're gonna take a knife, boom. Check this out. We're gonna take a knife. I'll pull a knife out. We're gonna take a knife right here. Boom. I'm gonna hit this right here. Boom. Take it around, all the way around, all the way around, 360. We're gonna expose. We're gonna cut off that bark right there. I'm gonna take it around right here. Maybe like right there. Hit that bark right there, all the way around, 360. Take it off. Scrape it. Boom. Scrape off that cambium layer right there. Boom. All the way around. Expose that. And then I'm going to hit it with some root hormone. We don't have to, but I'm going to hit it with some root hormone. And then what do we have right here? We have a container, okay? You see that? You see how I cut that and I have that ready? And I'm going to put that around there. You see how I have it cut? The top is cut. The container is cut. You see that right there? So that I can just put that around my branch and let that grow so that when roots start to feel the urge and hormones, and I'm going to put some rooting hormone in there too. I have rooting hormone. So when the roots start to feel the urge to want to produce new roots because they're exposed, and we're facilitating this branch wanting to produce its own roots, we're going to put that on there, and we're going to keep this covered up so that the sun doesn't produce any fungus, any moss, and so on and so forth. We're going to put that on there. And foil is good. Aluminum foil is something good to put around there. You can put whatever you want. I like to use aluminum foil. It reflects the sun. It doesn't let the sun through. And then we're going to put that on there. And this one branch right here, that's just a branch that might produce fruit. It's also going to produce a new tree. And then once it starts producing roots, bingo, cut it off. And then we have a clone of this red delicious apple tree. Okay? So we are cloning fruit trees also. All right? This is a food forest. I know for a lot of my followers, you're not necessarily understanding what you're looking at, but yeah, beautiful. Okay? We're looking at vegetables, strawberries right here. If you don't know what strawberries look like, these are strawberries. Okay? These are strawberry leaves right here. Okay? Onions. We're looking at onions. These are onion leaves right here. All right? More strawberry leaves. This is a blueberry bush. Okay? So we have blueberries. Look at that. More blueberries coming in. All right? We got some flowering, some that are already flowered. We got blueberries coming in. More blueberries coming in. Okay? And like I said, tree, shrub. So tree, red delicious apple tree that is already pollinated, and we're going to make a clone off of this tree. And then we got a blueberry shrub. Right next to the blueberry shrub, what do we have? You guessed it, more strawberries. More strawberries. Right next to that one, we have a fig tree. The fig tree is just starting to come alive. So we can't expect a lot from the fig tree, but the fig tree is alive, and it hasn't put on any leaves yet. This is an Italian ever-bearing fig, and this is going to do extremely well this year. It looks a little bit barren, but that's just what it looks like right now. Next to that, all right, I just put a bunch of onions out here last night. So it's not going to look like a whole lot, but it will. But it will. What do we have? Pears. Sickle pears. Look at this. Pears. You see the fruit on there? Those are sickle pears right there. Look at the fruit on there. We're already getting fruit. We're just into spring and we're already getting fruit. Look at that. Sickle pears. Okay? This is my sickle pear tree, my second sickle pear tree. We have several. Okay? All right? And look at that. It's cut down to size. It's trimmed down to size so we don't have to get on a ladder and harvest any fruit. It's a beautiful sickle pear tree. And look at this. We have, look at this. We got vegetables going to flower, want to produce seed. We got kale. We got radish. We got a few different things here. Look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful vegetables. Beautiful greens already. Look at this. And then we have another currant bush right here. Another currant shrub. Okay? All right? So a lot of people just don't know what are currants. They produce fruit. They're like grape-like fruit. You can do your research. We got a fruit right there. Okay? This is second year. So I'm not expecting a whole lot, but we have fruit on there. And then check me out. All right? This is purple potato over here. All right? This one. Let's get this out the way. All right? This one, purple potato. I put these in last night. Okay? They're purple potatoes. This one right here, purple potato. All right? So it's going to produce a lot. Look at these onions. Look at them onions. My onions are doing beautiful. I put hundreds of onions in. My onions are doing beautiful. Hit that like and subscribe button. Look at that. This is old onion. All right, but we have onions. We have fresh onions that I just put in not too long ago. Okay, look at that kale, Tuscan kale. It's my Tuscan kale right there. I love my Tuscan kale. All right, we got more veggies right here coming in. Look at that, more veggies. But next to our currant bush, see, currant bush, tree shrub, tree shrub, tree shrub. What do we got? Okay, check me out. Hit that like and subscribe button. Ace plum, another plum tree. Okay, this one is probably not going to produce fruit this year. Next year it will. Next year it will. Look at it. Next year it'll produce fruit. And then we have, what do we have here? This one, golden delicious apple tree. Beautiful. Love to see it. Look at that. We look like we got some pollination on there. Go. All right. Look at that. Look at those flowers on there. Okay. Golden delicious apple tree right there. Beautiful. Okay. What do we got right here? This one. This is a tall one right here. This is a tall one. We're gonna have to bend this down, train this one. This is a cherry tree. I think this is a Regina cherry. All right. And I want to train this one down too. We're gonna train this one down too. It's a cherry tree. Just did a lot of flowering, and we're gonna see how much this thing produces. I'm looking forward to see what we actually get from it. I don't know if we're gonna get much fruit from it, but yeah, this is a beautiful cherry tree. And I put in all sweet cherries. So that's a beautiful cherry tree right there. And we got a beautiful cherry tree right here. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking about, okay, so check me out. I'm gonna train this branch down right here. All right, y'all see all those flowers. Flowers mean fruit. These flowers are dying off. They're gonna be pollinated. All right. So I'm gonna train this branch right here, train it down. I'm gonna take this branch, train it down. Bingo. 2 branches trained down. I'm gonna train this one down also. But look what we got down here. We have 2 branches split. These 2 split branches, we're going to air layer. So I'm going to air layer this one. I'm going to air layer this one so that we get 2 clones of this tree this year. Okay? You see how low that is right down there? Look at that. So we're going to air layer this one, and then we're going to air layer this one, and we're going to clone this tree 2 times. This is a sweet, I think it's a Regina cherry tree. We're going to clone this one. All right. We got some veggies down there, some parsley. Okay. Ooh, kale. We got plenty of kale. Look at all that kale growing right there. Blueberry. More kale growing. Okay. And another cherry tree. Okay. Hit that like and subscribe button. All right. Blueberry. And the same thing, so on. All right. Red delicious. Grape. Concord grape. Kale. Kale. Fig. Concord grape. Red delicious. Okay. We just showing a food forest in real time. What does a food forest look like? All right. So my annuals are coming in. They're starting to come in. My annuals are starting to come in. It's starting to look like how it's supposed to look like. And I got a front yard food forest too. So we got plenty of stuff growing in the front yard. I ain't gonna act like this is it. Okay. This is just part of the backyard food forest. So we got turnips, beet, carrots. We got all stuff growing in the front yard. This is just the backyard. This is, and check me out. All right, look, check this out. And we got persimmon. We got persimmon trees I'm about to put in the ground. Persimmon tree right here. Persimmon tree right here. Persimmon tree right here too. Okay. And then what do we have? Another pawpaw tree right here. We got a lot of stuff growing on. We got a lot of stuff getting ready to go in there. We have over 40 fruit trees, and we're also cloning fruit trees. And most of them are not in this backyard. A decent amount are in this backyard, but it's like fruit tree, fruit shrub, annuals, so on and so forth. And everything is layered with intent and purpose. So if you're not familiar with the food forest concept, you should get familiar, really, if you ask me. Okay. because this is something I've been doing for maybe about 5 years now. This is a pawpaw tree right here. Okay, anybody familiar with pawpaw tree? Look at this, pawpaw. This is a fruit-bearing tree. Look at this. It's doing beautiful. A fruit-bearing tree right here. Pawpaw, native to New Jersey. Beautiful. Look at all the leaves on there already. Doing beautiful. Love to see it. Okay? And it's just, just understanding how things should grow, how things could grow, how they grow optimally. And we have set ourselves up for success for the future. So last year, I got a nectarine tree in the front that produced almost 40 fruit. Okay, and we could walk to the front. Like that's not an issue. We could walk to the front. I got a fruit tree in the front yard that produced almost 40 fruit trees. I mean, almost 40 fruit, vegetables, and all types of stuff growing in front. But okay, look at this. Okay, cords of wood. Okay, this is what I've been doing lately. This is what a lot of people came to the channel to look for. Okay, they're like, all right, what you doing? You chopping up wood? I'm chopping up wood. Okay, I can heat the home. We're getting a wood burner stove this year. We can heat the home, cook. We got all this wood right here. We got 3 cords. All right, and guess how much we paid for this? Free 99. Free 99. Okay. But let's walk to the front yard. And we got all this wood. I'm about to stack this tomorrow. Okay. Let's walk to the front. All right. I made my kids a little sandbox 2 weeks ago. My son's birthday, made him a sandbox. Look at that. Made a morning of it. Sandbox. All right. We walk into the front yard. It's a front yard food forest. Okay. Why do I call it a food forest? Because let's start out. We got a hazelnut tree right there. All right. It's not producing yet, but that's a hazelnut tree. All right. Right behind it, that's a fig tree right there. It's hard to tell, but it's a tag on it. All right. It's a phenomenal fig tree right there. All right. We got vegetables growing right there. Wheat. All right. We got barley growing back there. Wheat and barley. Okay. Some rose bushes, some stuff that's, some Lenten rose, some knockout rose bushes, some more Lenten rose right there. All right. Stuff that's going to attract pollinators, some false indigo. All right. But we got plenty of stuff. Some catmint. What we got right here? What we got? Now look at this. This is a beautiful fruit tree. Look at this. Beautiful. I'm going to spread him out. But what we got? A sickle pear. That's a sickle pear fruit tree. Okay. Doing beautiful. Looking amazing. But guess what we got right here? And it's a front yard right next to the road. You hear me? All right. Y'all see this? We're doing this as an example for the neighborhood. We are planting right next to the road. And right next to this, you see it? All this yellow stuff is turnips, beets, radishes, carrots. Okay? Let's go down here. What are we doing? We got some flowers in there. And then this is our carrot section. A ton of carrots right there. Y'all see them? A ton of carrots. All right, we got pawpaws out here. We got plum trees out here. We got elderberry right here. This is the elderberry. It's the elderberry bush that's growing all crazy right there. All right, that's elderberry right there. That's a peach tree right there. That's a nectarine tree right there. Okay. All right. Y'all see the nectarine tree right there? And then we got one right there. All right. That's about it. That's our front yard food forest. I'll check y'all out tomorrow. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that comment section. And let's talk about it. What is he doing? All right, excuse me. What's he about to do? Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to show Grandma this cool prize I made. What you made? The cool dessert I made. Did you cool yourself? Alright. Grandma's here. Not yet. All your body. It doesn't work unless you believe. Bam, or else your ideas hold this. This is mine. Oh no, you can have it. I can take from the spirit world. But I just These are new peanuts. Dada, we're getting ready to go outside because Greg said he's coming over.
Okay, baby.
And I was going to show him this. This cool dessert I made. That's for Mama.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.